What's going on, everybody? It's your homeboy Popular Video Games here, chilling out, maxing out, doing my thing. Welcome to My Flash Season 3, Episode 17, Fanfiction. The episode starts out with Black Siren running in an alley, stealing food from the local deli. She sits and starts eating it, right next to a dumpster. She says, "I haven't eaten in weeks. That bitch always chasing me." "You won't be eating at all," a voice calls out. Siren gets up and is surrounded by Human Eradication Force metas. "Canary, we've been looking for you," one of the metas says. They also say, "Where's your mask?" She then begins to sit there staring at the metas, preparing for a confrontation. Two of them decide to run at her, but she uses her high-pitched scream to blast them away into the wall. Frost then appears out of nowhere, making an ice wall, blocking the blast, but looks and says, "When did you become a meta?" Hef turns their attention to her abilities. Frost then stares at her and smiles and begins to walk over to Siren. Siren begins to put up her dukes, but then Frost says, "Hey, cool it. You're not from this world, are you?" Siren says, "How could you possibly know that?" "Because," she replies, "when the particle accelerator exploded, I saw another me when I looked into the ice. It was weird. I could grab her. Once the shockwave ended, I laid there next to her. She got up and just ran off. I laid there, captured, while she's stealing my life. No one cared because they already had one Caitlin. I'm guessing you're from her world." "Caitlin," Siren says. "She's a scientist with a very questionable method background. Had the whole police force knocking at her door. She disappeared out of nowhere. I thought she had powers." "Well, I guess I was part right. It was her, but it wasn't her." Frost then looks, saying, "Is it good?" Looking at the food Siren stole, she says, "It's not the best, but it's helpful. Come with us," Frost offers Siren. "What is us?" she replies. "Hef," she explains. "The Human Eradication Force. We will rule this world as gods." Siren says, "You remind me of a guy I once knew, or felt like I knew." She says, "You got yourself another meta." At the same time, Cisco is uptown buying lunch for Curtis and the other Trough members. He walks out and gives the members their food. They all laugh, saying, "I can't wait until the world is where we can just sit here and enjoy our food without worry of war." As they say that, EOD members see the trucks of Trough, thinking they are the task force, and begins to open fire. Trough manages to kill 6 EOD members without any casualties. Then a meta walks out saying, "I guess you missed a few." A sand hand comes from the person, knocking back all of Trough's members. Curtis and Cisco are the only ones that remain. Then a sand wall comes up and knocks Cisco into the air. As he falls, Curtis runs and jumps and catches Cisco, but at the cost of knocking himself out. Now, Cisco looks at the meta and says, "Why is it that people like you must take away everything?" His power activates, and he shatters the nervous system of the meta and the other EOD members that ran up trying to assist the meta. The sand meta drops, saying, "What did you do to me?" Cisco then creates a breach over the meta's head and closes it, cutting the meta's neck in half. Cisco then passes out. Trough members get up and race back to headquarters to aid in his recovery. In the distance, Tony is watching the Trough members carry Cisco into the van. He then decides this will be a good time to strike, but before he can, he hears something behind him. He turns around. It's Nissa. She says, "Well, round 2 then, bitch?" Tony then smiles, saying, "You know, I've been wanting to tap that ass again since I seen it." Nissa says, "Well then, big man, let's see what you got." The two then stare down and then charge at each other. Moments later, Wally is contacted by Trough to return to the base. Wally says, "I don't take orders from you." Iris gets on the line saying, "Wally, swallow your fucking pride and get to the base. This is serious." Wally grabs Jess's hand and says, "Let's go together." Jess questions, saying, "I'll go anywhere with you and however long with you, but didn't I destroy a piece of their base?" Wally says, "Don't worry about it. They suffer far more than this." They both begin to run to the HQ. When they arrive, guns are pointed at Jess. Jess puts her hands up. Wally runs, grabbing the gun, saying, "Guys, chill out." Barry walks in and says, "Who is this?" Jesse Quick, nice to meet you, she responds. So you're the old Flash. Barry looks at Wally. Barry says, it's a lot more complicated than that. Rip says, enough conversation. Let's get to work, people. Rip then walks by Jesse saying, you owe me a new door, young lady. Jesse then goes over to Wally and says, he thinks he's bigger than you, but I know the truth. The weapon is complete, Rip announces. With minor adjustments, we found the best way to capture the Black Flash's speed force. It's a device that someone has to actually wear to drain the Black Flash's speed force and direct it into Barry. Wally steps up and says, it's not going to be that easy. Everyone stares. He has a metal suit and weird cyber bionics. Barry gets up and questions, how do you possibly know that? Wally says, because I ran into him 4 days ago. Barry says, why didn't you tell us? I don't have to answer to you, Wally responds. Barry screams saying, it's not about me, it's about Iris, Troth, and the world. It can all be saved if we get black. Don't be reckless, and don't let your hatred for me blind you. Wally walks up to Barry with his fist balled. Barry walks up to Wally saying, well then, what's up, man? Jesse runs between them saying, boys, put your cock away. I thought you wanted to take this guy down. Barry then looks at Jess saying, wait, aren't you? Jesse quickly responds saying, yep, I'm the girl that was on Wally's arm. Wally says, I can lure him out. But how do you know this will work? Trial and error, Barry responds. Cisco is rushed in, tied down to a stretcher. Barry runs over saying, Cisco, what happened? Curtis walks over to Barry and explains everything. He says we got attacked by EOD, and Cisco killed the meta. Barry says, what? Cisco doesn't kill. Curtis says, it looked like he lost control for a minute when we were back into a corner, and he cut the meta's head off using one of his breaches. Barry then thinks to himself, this timeline is corrupting everyone. I must get this done, and in a hurry. Curtis then says, I can still help in Cisco's place. We worked on this together, and I know it inside and out. Barry then agrees, and then the plan is commencing. Wally is seen running, and he contacts Razor saying, you want me? Come and get me, and sends a GPS signal to Razor's communicator. Razor runs to meet Kid Flash. Now, they arrive at the industrial plant. Razor walks up to Kid Flash saying, now, are you finally ready to serve a higher power? Kid Flash starts laughing saying, serve? The only one that's going to be serving somebody is you. You'll be serving that demon in hell, you bastard. Razor smiles saying, you really think you can beat me? And what's up with that device? It's so unfast as you now. I remember Barry having something like that, Razor replies. I can put it to better use. Before Black Flash can finish, Jesse runs up and grabs Black Flash, putting him in a chokehold. Black Flash says, another speedster? Wally runs over. As Jesse holds Black Flash up, Wally runs over and grabs Black Flash's back and pulls him towards the device. He then screams, now, Barry! Then he begins to point the device at Barry. Now, when it hits Barry, Barry is engulfed in lightning. It actually makes him pass out. Curtis says, no, I can't face Cisco ever again if he dies. And Curtis runs to Barry. Razor, enraged, starts shaking violently, knocking Jesse and Wally off of him. He then runs and grabs Wally by the neck and says, I warned you, if you cross me, someone you loved will die. Jesse then runs towards Razor. He dodges and hits her in the neck, knocking her down. Wally says, no! And begins fighting Razor. Wally knocks Razor's hand off of his neck, throws a punch, but before he can, Razor hits him 5 times in the chest, sending him flying. Jesse gets up trying to help Wally, but then Razor kicks her in the ribcage, sending her back. Then he runs up and does a total of 100 punches on Jesse's entire body. Jesse then falls to the ground. Wally runs up trying to save her, but then Black Razor grabs Wally's feet and slams him into the ground. He then picks Jesse up and says, I told you someone would die. And then he throws her into a tree, breaking her spine. Wally's chest is sliced open by Razor's weapon as he tries to run and catch Jesse before she hit the tree. At the same time, Barry wakes up and stands, looking at Razor. Razor says, welcome back, Flash. The two begin a battle that destroys a building. Razor says, you're not fast enough to catch me, and save them. Before Razor runs off, he turns and looks at Barry and says, Astonishing. I guess Power Allerge's body did work. Using a Meta's body as a weapon. Huh. How did you know that, Barry says. Black Razor says, you shouldn't trust everybody, especially even those who hate you. Barry runs Wally and Jess back to the HQ as Black Razor stands there laughing. They are in critical condition. As he's running, Barry thinks, I'm faster than I've ever been. He's running thinking about how he first met Wally, letting Iris get hit by the glass, not being fast enough to protect her, Reverse Flash, Ronnie's death, and the Black Flash. At EOD, the base leader is about to make an announcement on the killing of their brothers and sisters. He says, no one will be safe until we can all live in peace. The leader is revealed to be Deadshot. He also informed everyone about the failed attack on Firestorm's life. Deadshot closes his eyes and says, the EOD members who died in that crash will be missed. More of our family dead because we just want freedom. We will not let them be forgotten, for the memories of these people will be burned into this planet. Above them, unknowingly, Robert Queen is testing his fully functional Atom suit. He's testing the flight mechanics. It's like I'm one with the air, Robert says. He's flying over the area, which is EOD's base, without him even realizing. He is then shot at by an AK-47. He fires his ion blast, sparking more force from EOD. Deadshot walks out and shoots Robert out of the sky, hitting his thrusters, which are 3 inches wide, from over 1,000 feet away. Robert then hits the emergency thrusters and takes off into the distance. Deadshot says, how did he know where to find us? One of the EOD members said, I just saw him flying. I don't think he knows about the base. Deadshot says, well, there's only one way to make sure. Back at Troll's base, Rupture is coming back. He just killed 14 EOD members and disarmed a bomb under Star Labs. Rupture walks past and sees Cisco in the medic bay. He walks in and says, I hope you're doing well, Cisco. Cisco says, how do you know my name? He removes his helmet and says, because I'm your brother, stupid. Cisco says, no, you're dead. Rip saved me. Rupture replies. Cisco hugs his brother and they reunite at last. Cisco says, I was so lost without you. What happened? Rupture says, after the Metas killed our family, Rip managed to get me out just before the explosion happened. He said he went back in time and said I would be a valuable member to this organization. Alright, y'all. Thanks again for watching. This has been your homeboy, Popular Video Games here. This has been my fan fiction for The Flash, Season 3, Episode 17. Guys, I'm going to let you know this now. There's going to be a little bit more of The Flash's episodes because The Flash with the CW comes out October 4th, so I only have a few days left to get all my episodes out because the final episode is going to be a 40 bleeding minute show. Yes, it's going to be 40 minutes. It's going to have a lot of fight scenes. Very excited for it. Also, y'all, I'm going to be doing my Destiny 2 series. I'm starting that back up. I sent it to Machinima thinking that they would actually accept it, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I'm going to start that back up, guys. It's going to be after The Flash Season 3, Episode 23 is uploaded. Once it's uploaded, then I will be done with the series. I can work on the remastered versions, which are very easy. I mean, each of those episodes are like 6 minutes long. My newer episodes now are like 12 minutes, 18 minutes, 24 minutes long. So it's going to be very easy. And then those are going to be uploaded every week when the actual episode of the CW Flash is scheduled to come out. So then I'll have time to work on my Destiny series. Make sure to like, comment, and support the series by subscribing. And when you subscribe, click the alert button because that sends a notification because the subscription box is screwed up right now. So click the alert button. Peace out, y'all, and talk to you later.